Alright, in this segment we're going to show you how to do what we call potting up. Basically it's to take a plant you bought this size and we're going to pot it up into the next size pot. And the only reason you want to go from a 4-inch pot to a 6-inch pot is epiphyllums like to be root bound before they start blooming again. But since I have two of the same varieties, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and go to an 8-inch pot instead of a 6-inch. So basically what you're going to need is your pot, your plants, and some soil. A little bit of fertilizer if you want to add that to it. And basically all you do is fill your pot about halfway full. You want a nice soil mix. I give a ratio for a good soil mix in my care guide if you want to check that out on our website. But basically any good potting soil mix will do, and what you want to do is tighten your soil up into a ball like that. As long as it falls apart when you open your hand, it's got good drainage and you'll be fine. Alright, get your pot about halfway up. You want to take at this point some fertilizer. You can use any basic fertilizer. 10-10-10 is a good quality when you're repotting your plants. About a tablespoon or so, and just spread it around in the bottom there before you put your plants in. Now you always want your potting soil to be sort of moist when you're doing this. You don't want dried out potting soil. And when you take your plant out of its smaller pot, you want to look for these roots on the outer edges of your pot. That tells you that the plant's been root bound. Now you want to take and knock a little bit of that off so you see the roots there, and just set it down in. And same thing with your next one. Just make sure you look for these outer roots. It tells you it's got a real good root base. And you might want to, if you know you've got scale present, check your soil line, make sure there's no hidden scale there. If there is, clean it up. I've got a how-to segment on that also if you want to check our website. And just hold them in there. Get your soil all packed in. You can pack your soil in tight around this. I wouldn't hammer it down. Make sure you leave some air in there. Alright. And I generally fill it all the way to the top. I don't save a whole lot of room for water to sit in there because Eppies don't like wet feet in the first place. Alright, and tap it a few times. Make sure your plants are staying upright like you want them to. And that is it. You've now repotted. Now what you want to do is set this aside. Don't put it in full sun. Keep it about 50% shade or so. And for the first week, you don't want to water this plant now. You can come along each day and mist it if you like. It's depending on your climate, you don't really need it, but you can. And then in about a week, week and a half, you can start watering it normally. I would say the first time you water it, only use about half as much water as you normally would. And there you go. You've now repotted your Eppies, and they'll start growing to be nice and big.